What if you could sell businesses the same website over and over again and have them pay you anywhere from $97 to $497 every single month? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you how you can create simple copy and paste websites and sell them to local businesses for a $1,000 to $3,000 setup fee plus a $97 to $497 monthly subscription. And stay with me because later in this video, I'm going to give you the exact framework I use to close all of my clients. But before we get into how you can create these simple websites and turn them into passive income, if you enjoy videos like this where you learn how to make money online, make sure to turn notifications on so you know when I post a new video, as well as hitting that like button. I hate asking for it, but it really does help out a lot. And as a thank you, here's a photo of my cat. Thanks so much. Now let's get into how you can start building these websites yourself. So this is what I mean when I say copy and paste or templated website. For example, this is one I built for an HVAC company. This one's for a landscaping company. This one's a construction and home services business. So the benefit of these is that you can actually just change a few things here and there, right? So you change in maybe the state that you live in or the area that you live in, the city, maybe some of the numbers here, maybe some of the services down here. So you don't really have to do a whole lot in terms of changing up the website. And that's the benefit, right? Because when we take these copy and paste templated websites, we can have these complete in a few hours for our customers instead of taking weeks to try to build them all from scratch. Now that you know what the websites look like, now I'm going to show you how to quickly copy and paste them. So the software I use to build out all my clients' websites on is called Go High Level. I really like it because it has a bunch of pre-built, ready to go website templates already embedded in the software. So if we go to a new website here, go to From Templates, you can see they have over 1,000 website templates. You can type in literally whatever niche that you want. So if you just type in plumber, for example, they're gonna have a plumbing website. So you can pretty much type in any type of business that you can think of that you're maybe trying to build a website for, and they'll have it in there. The other cool part too is all of the backend and lead follow-up and automations that go with the website. So what I mean by that is I'll go to this website template here. And you can see we have this contact form right here for this website, as well as this chat widget. And this is just a great way to capture a lead's information. So let's say someone comes to the website, to your client's website, they type in their name, phone number, email, whatever it might be. We can capture that information. The cool part is when they put their information in, that lead is actually going to get a text message and an email starting a conversation with them and the business owner or your client. So that's a really cool part that High Level offers. The other cool part too is we have a full booking system we can include on the website. So if they want to maybe include a free consultation or a 15-minute, whatever it might be, an appointment, if you're like, let's say a hair salon or something like that, you can do it here. They also have estimate. These are ones that I built, but this is an estimation form. So this isn't with High Level. I actually built this myself. But what it is basically just an easy way to capture a lead's information, maybe what they're looking for in terms of a job. So this is more for service businesses like a landscape or a plumber, things like that. We can ask them questions like, how soon are you looking to start your project? What is your budget? Things like that. So you can just retype these questions, set a question one, just ask whatever question you want and put in the different options and it's ready to go. So just another great way, another service we can offer to our clients. And High Level makes it really easy to offer these different services with the websites. So another great thing I love about High Level is you can actually white label the software. What I mean by that is you can actually change up the color scheme, the logo. So none of this is High Level branded. It's all your branding. So if you ever gave your customers login information, let's say they wanted to check out the conversations tab and look at all the conversations they're having, with their leads coming in, they would never even know that they're using, High Level. They think they're using your software, right? And all of that can be managed through a mobile app as well. So if they want to do it all through the mobile app, you can even white label the mobile app as well. But everything can be managed through High Level. So the form builder, the lead forms, all that stuff can be done through this. And the cool part too is that you actually only have to pay High Level a flat rate, and then everything after that's profit. So what I mean by that is you pay a High Level a $297 a month just to use the software, and then everything after that is pure profit. So for example, if you bring on a client and you're getting $300 from them, and you have 10 clients like that, and you're making $3,000 a month, or 100 clients, you're making 30 grand a month, you only pay High Level the $297. You never pay them more than that, right? You're only paying them the flat rate, and then we get to keep everything else after that. So to get cost break even, to get cost neutral, basically, it only takes one, maybe 2 clients, right? And then everything after that, your next, 20 clients, 50 clients, 100 clients, they're all paid for. And so you get to keep all that extra money coming in, right? If you're wanting to try Go High Level, you can do so using an extended 30-day free trial linked below. Normally they only offer 14-day free trials, but I worked out a deal with them, so they're gonna give you an extended 30 days. Now, High Level does pay me a commission if you use my link, so as a thank you, I wanna provide you with as much value as possible. So if you use my link, you'll get access to a full library of these ready to go website templates. They have all the forms, all the automations, all of that is pre-built, ready to go, so you don't have to really do anything. Also, you can hop on 3 weekly mentoring calls with me, so I'll be able to coach you and help mentor you to grow your agency, as well as I'll provide you with lead lists for whatever niche and whatever area you want to go after. I'll provide those to you on an ongoing basis and a bunch of other free bonuses. So if you want to use that link, you can do so below. But anyways, another cool feature that High Level offers is actually AI receptionist. So let's say a customer comes to the website, maybe they find your customer on Google, whatever it might be, and they call a number. We can actually set up an AI receptionist to answer all those phone calls, take in all the information, and basically just handle any leads coming through the website or through phone calls. And so everything's kind of automated, and all this is done on the back end. And this is why businesses are willing to pay us so much, is for these extra services that they normally wouldn't get with like a WordPress template or something like that. So the cool part is we can charge monthly for this, not only just a setup fee. So for example, you can see here, these are some of the different plans that you might be able to offer. But we can charge anywhere from $97 a month, $497 a month. You can up this price if you want to, right? You can charge $997 a month for some of these extra AI features, right? Just depends on how good you are at sales. But these are very like reasonable prices you can expect to charge. So you can charge $1,000 up to $3,000 setup fee just to build this website. Remember, you're just going in, you're changing the information on the website, the templates, right? You're not really having to build a brand new website from scratch. You can do it in a few hours, maybe a day. And then we charge them a $97 to $497 every single month just to keep the website, the automations, all of that going for them on the back end. But the great part is like I said earlier, we don't have to pay High Level that flat rate of $297 a month. So everything after that is pure profit. So if you bring on a 97 and a 197 client, or maybe a one $497 a month client, whatever it might be, you've already pretty much broken even, if not making profit. And then if you bring on 100 clients paying you $300 a month, you're making $30,000 a month. We only have to pay a High Level at $297, and then we get to keep everything after that. It's pure profit. So that's one of the best things is we only have to pay that flat rate, and then we get to keep everything after that. So it's 95, 90% profit margins in this business. So that's one of the benefits of using a software like High Level. You only have to pay a flat rate instead of having to pay for each account that you bring on. So now you know how we quickly set up these websites, but how do we find interested prospects that are willing to pay for them? So before we get into reaching out to prospects that might be interested in our website services, we actually have to go ahead and get a template already built out so we can show them that on the call. And so you can get one from High Level if you want to do it that way, or you can use one of the ones that I have pre-built. So for example, I have this HVAC one. You might need to go in and, whether it's the High Level one or mine, you might need to go in and just change a few things, maybe adding the location that you're in, maybe right here. But usually other than that, you're pretty good to go. Anyway, once you have the templated website ready to go, you can head over to Google and just type in, whatever business you're looking for, and just type in near me. So if we're going after HVAC for this example, I would type in HVAC company near me, and I would just get a bunch of different results here, and I would start going through and just finding businesses that might be good to cold call. So for example, this one right here, they don't have a website, great person to cold call. They have 35 reviews. They've obviously been around for a while because they've built out 35 5-star reviews. Those are great ones to target. Something like this, if they have a 1-star review, and that might not be a good person to contact. I mean, they might be. It says they've been in business 3 years, so maybe that would be a good person. But I usually like to stick with businesses that have at least 5 reviews. It means they're actually doing consistent business. They can usually afford the services that we're going to be trying to sell them. But you can go through here, click on the website, see if it's a good website. If it's already really a great website and pre-built, maybe just skip over them, go on to the next one. But this is a great place to start. The other thing too is that if you're an affiliate of mine, you'll get these lead lists. And so instead of trying to go through and trying to, go through each one and cold call on your phone, you can actually get these lead lists. I'll customize them for your area and for whatever niche you're going after. But you can use these lists and you can organize it based on maybe how many Google reviews they have, their business review average, where they're located at, all that kind of stuff, whether they have a website or not. So like, for example, these are all the businesses in my area that don't have a website, right? And so, if you want to just target those and not waste your time trying to sift through Google Maps, you can, use this lead list, because I'm going to hook you up with one, and that's going to save you a lot of time. But just another way that you can, go through these leads and just reach out to as many people as possible in a quick way. The other thing too is once you get them on the call, now we need to know exactly what we're going to say. And so I'm just going to role play this with you just so you can kind of understand exactly, what I say when I'm cold calling. But anyway, you're gonna call the lead. They're gonna say, hey, how can I help you? And I just kind of try to sound dumb. I know it sounds weird, but I just try to say, hey, how's it going? And they're gonna say, all right, how are you doing? You'll say, not too bad. This is John over at, HVAC services, right? And if let's say their business name is, HVAC services, Greenville, South Carolina, I might just say, is this John over at HVAC Services? I'll try to like shorten it up, make it sound like I'm a customer, not like just a random cold caller and saying their whole business name. People are going to usually, want to say it in a way that, a customer would be calling in. So that's how I would say it. They're going to say, yeah, how can I help you? And you say, hey, John, look, I'm just going to be honest with you. This is a cold call. Not sure if you just want to hang up on me now or maybe give me like 30 seconds to see why I called. And I kind of threw in some laughs there. I kind of threw in some ha-has, just kind of, make it, lighthearted. And usually, like 9 times out of 10, they're going to laugh at this. They find it really funny, especially these, home service guys. They really find this funny, and because they get calls all the time, and usually they just hang up on people. But usually they'll just be like, haha, yeah, sure, I'll give you 30 seconds. So you got 30 seconds. So let's see what you got. And basically you just kind of go into your pitch now. So you just say, haha, fair enough. So I was just calling because I came across you on Google, and I just noticed you didn't have a website or anything. So I actually just went ahead and put together a new smart website for you. Just hoping to show it to you. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, no problem at all, but still would love to show it to you. And I just say it like that. I don't try to, be super precise with all the words. I try to kind of have a little bit of a southern drawl. I'm in South Carolina, so, that's, kind of how people talk down here. So I just try to make it sound really casual. I'm not trying to sell them on anything. Just try to be really casual. And most of the time, I would say like 50% of the time, these guys will be like, yeah, sure, I'll take a look at it. And they're willing to take a look. And so, we've already built out the website, right? So we already have this website. So all we'd have to do is maybe put their logo up here if you want to go above and beyond and make it seem like you built this whole website just for them. But that's all you really got to do. And then once you get them on the call, you can kind of take it from there. But whenever you're going for the meeting time, you can just say, sounds good. I've got some time later today or even tomorrow. Do mornings or afternoon work better for you? And so what I'm doing there is what's called a 2-option close. And basically what you're doing is you're only giving them 2 options. If you leave it kind of up in the air and say, I have time anytime this week for you, it's going to be hard to book them down. You want to give them 2 options, right? Mornings or afternoons, today or tomorrow, things like that. That's going to help you, close a lot more people, get more people on the phone calls, and just ultimately make you some more money. So when you're getting these leads and you're calling them, just make sure you're doing that 2-option close. So another great way that you can actually get business is through a networking group. And so what these networking groups are is they are usually a bunch of business owners get together once a week, once every month, whatever it might be, and they just are working to grow each other's businesses. So you're not necessarily trying to sell people, in this group on your services. They're more there to try to refer you business, right? So let's say there's John at HVAC company in your networking group. You're not necessarily trying to sell him, but he obviously would know probably a lot of HVAC guys and maybe even some other home service people like construction builders or whatever it might be, right? And so when he's on the job sites and he's, talking with his buddies, if any of them ever bring up a website, or maybe he can refer you and say, hey, I know you didn't have a website. My buddy, Calvin over here, he builds great websites. I'll put you in contact with him. And so it's just a great way to get referrals for your business. And usually these networking groups are free. If not, they maybe cost maybe $100 a year, whatever it might be. They're not too expensive, but it's a great way to go out and yeah, you can sell people in your networking group, but the idea is to have, 25, 50, 100 people working for you in a way, referring you business, to get people coming in. And the cool part is referrals are the easiest closes you're ever going to get. I mean, honestly, you really don't even have to try that hard. You could be the worst salesman on earth, and I guarantee you could probably close a referral client because, they've already gotten a good word from, the other guy in the networking group that you're a good person to work with. And so when they come to you to work, with you, they're pretty much 9 times out of 10 going to go with you just because they were referred to you. So that's a great way to, meet clients or meet prospects and get more clients through referrals. So this is the exact closing framework that I use whenever I'm trying to close a client. And I've tried so many different closing frameworks. I've messed with this a lot, and I've just really honed in on this, and this is what really works well for me. And so I want to give it to you completely free as well. So if you just go down, it's linked below in the description. Basically, if you just go to my school community and type in script, it should be one of the first results. You should be able to find this really easily. But you can download the whole thing along with the cold calling script. It's linked there as well. But anyway, throughout this, you'll see I have up here, assume the close, sell the vacation, and go slow. I'll get into that a little bit later. But ideally, throughout this whole meeting process we're going to be having, whether it's in person or on Zoom, the whole thing we're doing here is assuming the close. So we're already going to make it sound like we're already working together, right? So when we're telling them about the website, we're saying, yeah, we can do this, for your website, we can do this. Like, we're not saying like if we work together, it's when we work together, or when we're building your website, whatever it might be. We're just assuming that we're already working together. So that's what that means. But Anyway, first thing you want to do is build rapport. So the first 5 to 10 minutes, this is just really getting to know the person, finding out, what made them get into the HVAC business or the plumbing business or whatever it might be. Find out, why they do what they do, what, how long they've been in the business, all that kind of stuff. Where are they from? Are they from your area originally? Like that kind of stuff. And so the next thing is you want to eliminate some objections early on. So if you can, eliminate a partner objection. If they have a business partner, just go ahead and tell them like, hey, if your business partner is able to make it, let's go ahead and get them on the call. If not, we can always reschedule and try to reschedule them with the business partner. Usually, if you're going after service-based businesses like HVAC and things like that, usually you're not gonna have to worry about that. These guys are solo. But if that, just maybe ask that in the beginning, maybe if their wife needs to be on the call or something like that. And then you're kind of disarming them, right? So you just want to just let them know like, hey, I just want to learn a little bit more about you, and see what's working for you, what's not, what your goals are, and just want to see if we'd even be a good fit, right? So it's like kind of no pressure. You want to just go ahead and almost pretend like you're not even going to be trying to sell them on the call, which we are later. But just starting off, we're just gonna be super easy with it. And next, you just want to make sure you like have their best interest at heart, right? So we're just going to tell them like, hey, we're going to obviously look at the website we built for you, but I just want to make sure, I'm going to ask you some questions. Just want to make sure that, whatever, you're looking for, I want to make sure I'm showing you that kind of stuff and not stuff that you don't need or even want, right? Because the whole thing is we just want to give you something that you're actually going to, benefit from in growing your business's online presence. And then I have some discovery questions here. I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can just kind of go through here and read them. Like I said, you can get that copied and download it and look over it yourself. But just basic discovery questions. This is kind of going to be, going into a little bit more rapport building. These aren't really deep discovery questions. They're just kind of the surface level. And, I have it right here too. Repeat back what they've told what they've told you. So if they're saying, my goal is to hit $1 million this year. Let's say that's their goal. You want to repeat back to them like, okay, so I hear that goal of hitting $1 million this year. That's a great goal. Just repeat stuff back to people. They really, it's a easy rapport builder. It's a psychological thing that if you just repeat things back to people, it instantly builds trust with you and the other person. So just constantly repeat things back to them, what they've already told you. You'll be surprised. People will it's a really great rapport builder. Next are some discovery questions you can go into. And so these are going to be questions that we already have the answer to. We don't want to necessarily tell them we have the answer, but we're just trying to uncover the pains, right? So for example, with the AI receptionist or something like that, what process does it look like when someone calls in, after hours, maybe when you're not available to answer the phone. And so they're going to be like, oh, well, we don't have a process for that. Nothing. I just try to get back to them as soon as I can. And so you're uncovering that pain. You're not going to jump in and tell them, well, we have an AI assistant that can help you. We're going to wait on that. We just want to uncover the pain. So later, that pain is registering. This AI assistant is the solution, right? So that's the kind of thing that we're looking for there, is to uncover those pains. And then just, continually repeat back to them exactly, the whole thing, and repeat back to them, what their pains are, maybe what they're looking to do, all that kind of stuff. And then basically you just want to kind of bridge the gap. So tell them like, hey, it sounds like you're currently, at $500,000 a year, you're trying to get to, this dream state of $1 million a year, and just kind of re-emphasizing what their goals are. And so, just keep going over those pains and things like that. And then we're actually going to get into the demo now. So after you've done all, you're going to spend about like 20-30 minutes discovering before you even get into showing the website demo. I know it sounds crazy, but that's really, that's really how much rapport needs to go into this before you actually try to sell someone. And then this is where you're going to just go ahead and start telling them, as you're showing them the website and going through this, you can tell them like, hey, we can obviously change, the different services. And when they say something like, oh yeah, I don't offer HVAC install, you'd be like, oh yeah, so when we start building your website, I'll make sure to remove that, and no problem at all. And so you just kind of like are assuming that close that way, like, hey, I'll remove this when we build your website, right? So just assume the close, and you basically just want to go over kind of everything, on the website, go over the calendar booking system, go over the lead form, the automations, all that kind of stuff. You're just going to quickly go through it and show them everything, and you basically just want to do all of that. And then when it comes to closing, this is where you kind of go over the different pricing, and you just want to show them the different pricing, kind of what they want, what they don't want. And, but then you're going to ask them, between, the 2 plans or 3 plans, whatever you're offering, which one do you think it makes the most sense for you? You're not asking like, which one are you going to go with today, but which makes the most sense for you? And usually they'll be like, oh, the growth plan for $197, that makes the most sense for me. You'd be like, all right, great, sounds good. Yeah, so what I can do is, be like, I think that makes perfect sense for where you guys are at in your business. So what I can do is I can go ahead and, start getting this, information ready, and I'll go ahead and send you over the payment link. And you just kind of assume the close that way and just go for it. And then I have some other different ones. You can see all the different ones I have here. And this is like a last resort. If you're like are trying everything and they're not closing with you, you can offer a snap discount. So maybe just be like, hey, I'll waive the setup fee, or I'll give you the 197 plan for 147 if you move forward today. Something like that. You can offer snap discounts and play around with pricing. I only offer that as a last resort, but if you're really trying to go for the deal and you really want to close it, that is a way to close someone. And then I do have some more objection handling down here, and you can go over these, but there's a bunch of different objection handles that I have in here. I won't go over all of them, but just another great way you can kind of handle the objections and get that closed. So yeah, go ahead, download this full framework. I spent a lot of time. I spent so many years just perfecting this. So go ahead, steal it, grab it, take it, use it. Just like I said, it's linked below, and you can go ahead and start using this for when you're closing clients. So now you know how to take these simple templated websites and turn them into monthly passive income, but there's a lot more that goes into running an agency that I just wasn't able to cover in this video. So if you're wanting to learn more about how to make passive income with an agency, you can join my free school community linked below, where I go even more in depth on how to set up, run, and grow your own agency. And like I mentioned earlier, if you're wanting to try to go high level so you can start selling websites like these, you can do so using an extended 30-day free trial linked below. And if you do, you'll get a full library of these ready to go website templates, 3 weekly mentoring calls with me, free access to custom lead lists, and even more free bonuses to help you grow your agency faster. But thanks for watching, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop them down below or text me directly and I will personally respond to you. But that's all I got for you. I'll see you in the next one.